Easy E, how are we?
Seán E. 5 seconds earlier, you would have had the biggest yawn recorded ever.
We're tired. We haven't done a podcast in 2-3 weeks. What are you tired about? It feels like a month or two, actually. Just that whole Christmas period. Christmas itself seems a long, long time ago, but Jesus, it feels like a lot longer. I actually can't remember the last podcast we did. When it was like. I know last one, I think, was Rachel. No, we did one after Rachel. Rachel was the last podcast, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that seemed like a long time ago.
Like someone asked me the other day, it was like, again, one of these moments where you kind of forget people are listening. Like, when's the podcast coming back? I was like, oh. I was like, I don't know. It could be this week, it could be next week, because as soon as we start, that's it. It's back.
We're back. Yeah, that is ripping the Band-Aid off. And it seems like late enough, but I don't know about you, but like working in the gym and stuff this week, usually start of the year, New Year's resolutions, all that, you expect it to be absolute manic. And don't get me wrong, it was busy, but it just seems like people have been like easing themselves back in. I don't know, it's because like kids and stuff only start midway through the week or whatever way the Monday kind of fell, the bank holiday and all the rest, where it seems as this Monday, I suppose people listening now, if they're listening today when this podcast goes out on the 9th, Monday the 9th, this seems like the real first Monday where everything's back to a normal routine for the entire week. Did you feel that as well? Or
yeah, like even I always gauge myself off the traffic on the N7, but going into work there was no traffic for the whole of the week, which means the majority of people they just extended holidays. Even in work, there's a lot of people on extended holidays, obviously because the kids are off and this and that, and no one wants to just get into the childcare and all that kind of crack as well. So it's I'd say this week's gonna be busy now, because even for myself, I've been easing back in, and by easing back in I mean I've ate less sweets. I didn't stop eating sweets. I just began to remove the Cokes from the fridge and put in the sparkling water.
But by remove the Cokes, you mean drink the Cokes from the fridge?
100%.
Can't waste it.
Don't replace them. There are still Cokes here that from Monday won't be going in until a Friday morning for my Friday evening snacks. But it's hard. I'll tell you, like, it's every year we do it, and in fairness, it never gets easier. I'm gonna be honest. Anyone who's setting a resolution or anything, it doesn't get into it. We'll probably chat about it a little bit in the podcast.
Yeah, well, in that case, we'll hit straight into the intro music for this week's episode of the Any Given Monday podcast. Let's go. Okay, well, let's get straight into it, I suppose. So how do you go about setting New Year's resolutions?
For me,
or is it a big deal to you?
No, I'm going to be honest. No. Okay. What I'm a fan of is setting a goal. How I get to that goal could be good or bad. Last year was a bad year in general. Like, if I was to review my year last year, training, stuff, like I spent 4 weeks in Finland. That was 4 weeks gone, where I did actually a little bit of running, but nothing major. We had the apartment renovation. There was 2.5 months pretty much gone. So, like, did I have a goal to do the Dublin Marathon? Yes. Did I do the Dublin Marathon? Yes. Was I as fit as I'd like to be, or did I break my time goal that I originally had set? No. But like, you don't know. Like, you can have the best resolutions in the world, but sometimes, like, the reality, like it's easy to make these when you're at home. You're in your zone at Christmas. You're around the kitchen. You're around the house. You've got all this time, and then January kicks in. First 2 weeks of January, people aren't really into gear themselves. By the time February comes, and it's not that people's motivation falls away, or life just picks up again. Like, the pace that the year finished was phenomenal. Yeah. It was busy. I didn't have a second. There wasn't a single engagement that I hadn't got planned for a month. Like, most weekends were planned a month in advance. It was busy. But so that's all I kind of realized that myself. But it's setting a few goals, Sean, rather than resolutions. So one of my goals is to read a book a month. Originally that started with, I'm going to read 5 pages every night, but then that could fail. That could fail because some night it could just be a bad old day and I could fall asleep before I get a chance to read 5 pages. So if I space out a book over a month, that means if I read 15 one night and none the next night, but I'm back on it, we're trending towards the goal. And that's kind of the method I'm using towards everything. It's the same method I use towards my training. Sometimes you're going to miss a training session. You don't try and catch up on it. You don't try and do anything. You just keep going with the next day, because at the end of the month there's a race and that's the goal. And once you get that race done, so that's where I am. So that's my first one. What about you? Or am I talking sense?
I mean, like I'm not a big fan of resolutions, but obviously just with work and all the rest and doing blogs and everything, I was reading more into it, and I suppose it's a chance to wipe the slate clean. Like that new year, you kind of go, right, stay clean, whatever happened last year. It's easy to go, it's in the past, it's done. Where sometimes you have a bad race or whatever, it could play on you on like trying to build yourself back up again. Whereas the start of the new year, you kind of feel like you've had your break, you're a week or two off of Christmas. Some of us trained through, some of us didn't. I know I didn't do a whole lot of training. I plan to do a lot more, and I'm going to regret that in the next week, but that's probably next week's podcast, talk about that one. But I think it's a chance just to wipe the slate clean, get started again. And then I like building throughout the entire year. So I like leading towards Dublin. I haven't actually thought too much about Dublin this year because when I hit the 3:30 goal, I don't know how much more I can go, but I know that's there anyway. So obviously I've talked before the podcast, the goal is to do 100 miles in 24 hours. So everything I do now, all my races, with the exception of 5K next month, because I still hell bet in that sub 20, it's really, really annoying me. Everything else now is just putting miles in the legs and building up different kinds of conditioning. I've talked before in the podcast about struggling with just flat out kind of conditioning, if that makes sense. Like I can go all day, my endurance is good, but if we have like a short sprint race, or if it's 20 cals in the assault bike, I'm nearly getting sick afterwards. So I want to improve that. So I have my habits of, okay, once a week I'm going to do this type of session with a group of people, and that's the way that's going to go. And everything else then is just building on mileage. I like 1 or 2 goals and everything else, smaller goals to build towards them.
Yeah, and I suppose that I think you're completely right. And one thing you've kind of mentioned without actually saying the word is routine.
Yeah.
Like motivation is short-lived, but routine lasts. And you'll find, like, I don't know, especially me, I am a creature of habit. Like, it's last summer when I actually got the finger out. I came back from Helsinki and I was like, I have to cycle from Misen to Malin. This is going to hurt if I don't get training. And I had that moment where I was like, I have to cycle in now to work. The first week, I was like a demon. Like a demon. I say Katie wanted to shoot me in the face. I was just grumpy. I didn't want to talk. I'd come home. I don't want to do it into bed because I was wrecked. And she was like, let's go for a walk in summer. And I'm like, no, go away. But more importantly, what built was a routine, was a habit. After 2 weeks, I wanted to cycle to work. I wanted to see how quickly I could do it. If I hold 31 kilometers an hour in this section, I should be good. Like it was, the routine really, really kicked in over I think it was 8 weeks, Sean. Was it about 6 to 8 weeks?
I think, around that. But even that there just shows, okay, you didn't just set a mindless goal of I want to cycle more. It's like you had the task and you had that pressure. I think that pressure and accountability is big in it as well. You can't just write down, get fitter and leave it at that. It's like, okay, well, what challenged that fit? Like, what is fitness? Like, I could say, I'm fit now, I can run 10 miles. And some people, that's incredibly fit. And some people's like, I run 200 miles. That's not fit. Or some people's like, but can you do, some sort of, fitness challenge with X amount of burpees and chin-ups and this and the salt bikes and all the rest? I'm like, okay, I'm not fit like that. Or can I play a football match for 90 minutes? That's not my fitness. So by writing get fit doesn't really put it there. But to your point, you had something signed up, you had that pressure. It was a shitty start, and it's not always going to be a fun start doing things. But after a week or two, you're like, okay, Now you set your little goals there. You can I cycle this period, like you said, 31 kilometers an hour, this period, this time, and all the rest. And that builds towards that long goal. So my advice to people is either to sign up for, like, I know we're going to talk about our own thing in a couple of minutes, but it's sign up some sort of race or event or something. So when you're feeling good this week and you have that motivational high with the clean slate and trying to start something new, it's like, okay, what's the end goal? Set that end goal and then work backwards and try and build yourself up towards that. I know I've signed up for a 5K race in Clane, the 21st of February, I think it is. So that's when my another attempt at the sub 25K comes. And I've signed up to already. Last year I signed up, but that's when my 24-hour thing goes. Right, I have the main fitness goals. I have other things almost signed up for it. I can't talk about just yet in the podcast, but then I'm building towards those, and I'm working back from those end dates to build my training around it for pretty much most of the year. Definitely the first half of the year sorted.
All those other goals you can't talk about, you sneak.
Well, see, I haven't technically signed up for one of them, and it's a little bit outside the realm of running, and I'm very nervous about it. But I'm going to leave it on that cliffhanger until the dotted line is signed for it, and I'm booked in for it.
Sneaky bastard. So, but yeah, no, it is right, and it is that, as you've said. Look, the clean slate feeling, that motivated feeling. And another thing that people don't realize, when they sign up for, or when they say, I'm going to get fitter, I want to run a 5K, they start on January 1st and they're doing it. And what do you notice? You notice other people. You notice other people out doing the same thing. When you go to the gym, you notice it's crowded. There's so many people there. And believe it or not, that's what's motivating you. Seeing is believing. That's why I do my long runs in the Phoenix Park, because I don't want to run. And then I get there, and then I on the drive into the post cross, I'm after seeing 100 people out running, and I'm like, oh, do you know what? This won't be bad. There's a lot of people out here doing this, even though the weather is marginal, and there's a lot of other people out doing it. And yeah, let's just get started. And that's all you need. That is all you need, and that's why, like, it does help to have a community around you that's doing the same thing. It does help to, as we will talk about, sign up to something that's going to give you the motivation. There's going to be other people that are doing the same thing. So it's it is easy in the first month, and that is important, that you build a realistic routine as well. Like even I'm thinking, Sean, of doing a morning workout. But I know I'm not a great morning person, and I know I like to choose sleep over everything else. So I kind of have to be careful, but I'm not saying it can't be done. I just have to do it when the motivation is high, build a routine, and then see if it's sustainable, and not be afraid to alter it and go, oh, well, that's my New Year's resolution out the window because I'm back to being sleepy Eric again.
But a lot of people will do that in the morning routine. But like you said, you prioritize sleep. And that is a good thing, as opposed to, like, people go, oh, no, he's just being lazy, trying to sleep in an extra hour. It's like, no, to get that morning routine, it also means you change your sleep habits, and that you're going to have to go to sleep an hour earlier than the night before. Because otherwise you're going from 6 or 7 hours to 5 or 6 hours. And then you're trying to do a morning workout first thing and then function like you normally would throughout the day when you're already after being up earlier. It's not going to work. So it's that knock-on effect of still prioritizing your sleep. And that's what a lot of people struggle with, is this whole, Instagram hustle kind of thing. It's like, oh, I have no time to sleep. Sleep is a cousin of death and all this kind of nonsense stuff. It's like, no, sleep is your recovery. You need your recovery. Build your recovery. And like you said earlier, make it realistic. So, you're not going to train hard 7 days a week. You might be out there 7 days a week, but it's going to be 1 or 2 very light recovery runs if you're doing 7 days. Not that we'd recommend that, but it depends on where you're at in your training cycle, obviously. But you need to make it make sense to you. How, like, I can't just go 6 o'clock, I'm training in the morning, that's it. It's like, how does your day fit in? How does the night before fit in? And making those habits that make it sustainable. The first 2 days are going to suck because you're not used to it. But 2 weeks later, just like you and the bike, 2 weeks later, if you've kept that going, it just becomes habit routine, and you get easier. It gets somewhat easier.
And it is, as you've said, you have to change your lifestyle. A resolution or a plan to change, if you have written down, like, I'm going to get fitter,
Yeah.
You're looking at lifestyle. You're not necessarily looking, okay, so that goal will be, I want to lose 5 kilos this year. I want to have a 6-pack for my holidays. I want to put on 2 kilos of muscle mass. No matter all of these things are a lifestyle, and each one of them are inherently different.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's from the food you need to eat, from when you need to eat the food, to what type of training you need to be doing. Like each of these is a lifestyle. So you have to be willing to change what you're doing now currently, not drastically. You don't have to like completely change out your life. But you need to change the routine of your lifestyle. You need to change everything. And that is what gets you a goal. It's not the fad diets. Fad diets are what they are. Stay away from diets. People who diet hard, when the diet is over, put back on the weight and then some. So that is the usual case. You put your body in these cycles of starvation, body stores of fat, because your body has a set point. Your body has a place it wants to be weight-wise. So all you can do, if you did the fad diet, it's going to go back there. And as soon as you get back into normal, because the body's going to be like, oh, food, store.
Yeah.
And then you'll be back at where you were before you know it. But what you can change is your lifestyle. If you are naturally a big person and you're like, I'm constantly doing diets and I'm back up again, then you need to start probably thinking of big person exercise. So lift weights and lift heavy, build muscle mass, if you can put muscle mass on your body to start eating those calories, that should be the lifestyle change you should be thinking of. I should be lifting and doing these kind of exercises that are going to put muscle mass on me, that's going to help me maintain my weight. You don't necessarily have to say, I have to eat 600 calories 2 days a week and then 4,000 calories on Thursday, Friday, because they're my good days. You need to just think of a lifestyle around exercise, and an exercise that's going to help you maintain everything you're going to do, and that's just it. It's an entire lifestyle change. That's how goals fail, is because people aren't willing to change their lifestyle. They're staying up watching or playing PlayStation, or what did we watch last night? John Wick or something till 2 a.m, and then not able to get out of bed till 11. And then the day is away from you then, and that's that my lifestyle is changing tomorrow, because I know what's expected of me for the year, and I know it's a lifestyle change. I understand there has to be rules. I have to be aiming to be in bed at 10 o'clock. So I can't be staying up on scrolling through Instagram till midnight anymore. And then I want to be reading my book for a half hour, so I should be asleep by 10:30. And there's 2 lifestyle changes that are going to help me reach one of my goals, reading a book, and the second one of getting up early, because the morning is sacred. If you can get your training in before everyone else even wakes up, depending on your situation at home, obviously it suits me as just no kid, like if you're
9-5, that kind of thing,
they're deciding you're up earlier. I'm just on a regular 9-5, no kids. And if I can get that done before work, I don't know what the day will bring in work. So it guarantees at least one of the training sessions done. Like if it's a swim I need to get done, I'll go get that done. That means I just have to get a run in at some point in the day. It could be at lunchtime, could be in the evening, but I have 2 more chances to get that done early. And then it's into dinner and everything else. And like, last thing I'll say, probably on lifestyle changes as well, it's not necessarily food you eat, it's the preparation that you put into it. Okay. So for me, Sean, Sunday is meal prep day. I make sure that I have everything for the week. I don't want to be doing a shop run during the week, because if you're doing a shop run during the week, you're coming home, you're tired from work, you've got the train, yada yada. You can already see the excuses are building up here. Yeah. Then you've already made 4,000 decisions. You made a decision of what you were going to wear that morning, what makeup you were going to put on, what perfume you were going to wear, what clothes, socks, did you put it on the right foot? Like, your brain is constantly making decisions all day. By the time 6 o'clock comes around and you're in Lidl with a half hour to spare to get the dinner ready and get to your next training session, you're going to make bad choices, because once you get there, your body's just going to trigger back to, I want the easiest calories as quickly as possible. And that is a given. It's going to happen. Your brain is better than you. So that's why on a Sunday, my lifestyle changes, and Kate knows this. Like, have you got plans for Sunday? It's like, hey, whoa, Whoa, Sunday. What happens on a Sunday? Well, our plan is the shopping is done for the week. The meal plan for the week is pretty much set out. So the meats be coming out of the freezers. And Sunday, I will cook 2 to 3 dinners. So at least up until Wednesday, hump day, we don't have to think. It's open fridge, it's microwave, it's food ready in 2 minutes. And that is what Sunday gives you. It gives you that the Monday to Wednesday of the week. Then Thursday, you might just cook a singular meal because Friday is burger night for us. And that is what we work into a routine. But that starts on Sunday. So by just making one day sacred in the week, for me and for prep and for everything else, motivation is not going to be there when it gets busy. But the routine of the Sunday has set me up for a very good chance of success. Up as far as Wednesday. Thursday is always the singular meal because Friday is always burger night. And it's not a takeaway. It's a homemade burger. It's a this burger. It's a chicken fillet burger. It's a beef burger. It's whatever burger we're having. And it's stacked high and it's beautiful. And
you're really building up this burger night. You're like, it's burger night.
and that's when on Friday morning the routine is to put the 2 Cokes in the fridge because burger night is Friday night. And those little habits are nice to look forward to. And with like days are long, but weeks are short. And when you're getting to Thursday and you're like, oh yeah, tomorrow's burger night. I'm looking forward to my burger. Do you know, like it's very easy. It and people ask like, oh, how are you so disciplined when you're fully? It's not discipline. It's just habit. It's just, because I do Sunday nights, I don't need discipline during the week. Everything's done for me. I'm in autopilot. Yeah. Like I just reduce all the decisions I have to make. The decision is already made on Sunday. So it takes the bullshit out of it during the week or the unforeseen. I'm late home by an hour. So now I haven't got time to prep the dinner. Well, it's only 2 minutes anyway. So yeah, so I've gone on a little bit of a rant. I'm just trying to give people an insight into how habits is better than resolutions, how a lifestyle change are sometimes better than fitness goals. Like the habits and the lifestyle are what give you everything else. They are the key to opening the door. And once you figure that out for yourself and figure what works, you are unlimited in the goals you can achieve for the year.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, and you described what works for you. And if you try to shoehorn that into my work schedule, it just wouldn't work for me for various different reasons. I think that's the main thing to get from it. You can't just look at someone's New Year's resolutions plan or goal plan and go, that looks real good. I'm going to copy that and do the exact same thing because it's not going to give the exact same outcome. It's going to be 2 completely different outcomes to it for a whole host of different reasons because we all are different schedules, different lifestyles. Traveling, foods we eat, foods we enjoy, things even right down to like different fitness goals in terms of like exercise you kind of have to somewhat enjoy it. Now don't get me wrong, there's some days like today I have to go out for a run. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be horrible. But I know I'm going to struggle, but I get out there, I get it done. Whereas other days I'm like, okay, let's go for a run. There are some days I love it and some days not so much so. But if you absolutely hate it all the time, you won't stick to it. You need to find something that you'll somewhat stick to it, but still has to be that little bit hard. One of the things I suppose, like 2022 was probably the best fitness year I've had in terms of all the goals and stuff. And one of the things I genuinely do put it down to is the community we've kind of built with this podcast and different people we know. And we've talked before about Dublin Marathon and all the rest. So a lot of stuff we've been doing the last 2-3 weeks was building our own online kind of community platform. Now, for some people, they have the routines and stuff in place and you're constantly in the gym, you're constantly in runs, you're doing really well, you know what you're doing. Probably isn't the best thing for you, but if you're looking for that extra bit of accountability, a starting point, that's what we've tried to build on our online app. And there'll be a link in the description on basically we're going to talk about for the next 5 minutes for the end of the podcast. But if you're like, Sean, we're sick of talking about it, we're not too sure what to do with 2023, I should say, there's a link in the description. 2 weeks free trial. There's no holding back on it. You get absolutely everything. There's no credit card details, anything like that. After 2 weeks, if you're not happy with it, that's it. You're done. Otherwise, we will tell you more about how to sign up, stuff like that, as those 2 weeks approach. And it's very, very affordable. And the main selling point of it is not just the training programs we provide, not just 2 of us. Rachel's running plans as well. Rachel's doing running coaching as well. And she got a couple of clients over Christmas, actually, which is pretty cool for her. And Yeah, I've talked enough on that, Eric. You want to fill out the last couple of minutes of the podcast?
Yeah, I suppose we do a lot of talking, and we have our app, and we've kind of half gone for it. And part of our goal this year is to just give it a go ourselves in terms of this little platform, because we feel like a lot of people share in a lot of what we do, and the idea behind this is sometimes people, and I know myself, is you just come clean off the wagon, and again it comes back to I just don't know what to do. And I've done all the training plans, but sometimes I go into the gym and I'm just like, I just don't know what to do. And what we have is it is a club. It's a place where people can come, get strength and conditioning, they can get running. If they want, they can get nutrition advice. If you've just kind of lost your way a little bit, you can step in, do a little bit, find your way, step out. It is a place for people to come to get that motivation, be a part of a group, of knowing that other people are training, kind of what we spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
And like I know one of the plans, just to talk about what you get, like the plan will start, and you'll sign up on the Thursday. You can say you want to start on the next week or whatever when you sign up. But pretty much when you start, you will have a full body workout to get done based on what you filled out. Is it at home? Is it with dumbbells? Is it in the gym? So if you're going to the gym, and I'm going to be honest, not to hit out at gyms, some, not all, some of the personal trainers, for example, my missus went to a gym. I won't name the gym. Okay. And she went in like a lost sheep, looking for the shepherd to put her on the path to good workout. He folded a timetable in half, used the back of it, and I'm going to give you a guess on what exercises he gave her. Now, her goal was to strengthen her knees, do other little bits and pieces to develop flexibility so she can run a 5K, because she gets a little bit of knee pain she's doing it, so she's looking at kind of avoiding runner's knee and all that kind of stuff. I'll give you three exercises to guess what we're on this plan for.
Warm up was probably run on a treadmill or a bike for 10 minutes. I'd say leg press was probably the lower body exercise.
Yeah.
I'd say upper body was probably chest press and lat pull down.
Chest press, lat pull down, and the only thing you were missing then
shoulder press,
the shoulder press and the deadlift.
Sure, deadlifting as well. Actually, I wouldn't have guessed deadlift.
Yeah. So, and this was written on the back of a folded over, like they don't care. It's just like it just didn't match her goals. Sorry, long story short. Yes, were there exercises on the page? 100%. Even when she was doing them, now I never said anything. I just said, "Yeah, work away, see what it's like." Even though I was on to you, like this is. But when she was doing it, she just felt like it wasn't for her. She didn't know. She was like, well, instructor has said this, I'm going to do this. She didn't know it wasn't. She knew her body was even telling her, we're not really interested in this. And she got bored of it. 2 weeks. She was fed up with it. And what we're trying to do is give people with your experience in strength and conditioning and the running and this and that, realistic kind of enjoyable exercises. Exercises that, you're kind of thinking as well as working. You're working the body in ways that are enjoyable, particularly if you're involved in running or you're just looking for overall health, well-being, strength and conditioning. It's not just go in and do your bench press, your deadlift and look in the mirror and go home. It's really, really good strength and conditioning. And if you are in a gym, and this is my point in getting to the price, I'll let you probably talk about pricing, Seán. You can probably see it on our website. The website is up and running, but the idea is you can have a gym membership, and that is fine. But sometimes you might need an extra little help in that gym. And that's what this plan will give you. That's what this community will give you, is you can still use your resources, go to your gym, but it will just give you a plan that's a little bit more tailored to you, a little bit more in your flavors, I suppose, or your enjoyment level, or orientated towards your goals. Because I remember I went into a gym and I was like, look, I'm doing an Ironman. I'd like a functional program to involve a lot of functional movements. And he was like, yeah, no problem. So we're going to start with squats on the bar, and we're going to do the bench, and then we're going to do deadlifts. I was just like,
crushing you.
So I left that gym. I paid the first month, and I went downstairs then and said, I'd like to cancel my membership, please. Thanks very much. And I had only joined 2 days earlier. But that's like, sometimes if you don't know what you're into and you don't know what you're looking for, sometimes it won't lead up. And the beauty of our app, Sean, is there's a community there you can talk to. There is coaches you can actually message and go, I'm not really probably enjoying this level. Is there anything I can tweak or do differently to this? And you don't have that guilt, because a lot of people have that, as Irish people, if it was in America, they wouldn't care to call you out straight away. But in Ireland, I don't want to annoy them. I'm sorry to bother you, but I don't. Do you know what? Maybe it doesn't matter. It's fine. Oh, he's really busy. He has a client now, but he won't be. I'm really sorry. Yeah, no, look, I'll get him next week. And then you just keep trudging on, or maybe you just don't come back. Whereas we give the opportunity for people to ask in the community, does anyone else suffer with this? And someone will. There's going to be a lot of other people going through the same thing. We have coaches you can message there and then. And because it's over a text or through an app, you don't really feel about it. Like, you'll do it as if you're just sending an Instagram or a link or anything. It's slightly easier, and it just takes that guilt away, because obviously we're not there to watch you do it, but we're there to help you along the way and get back to you and point you in the right direction, tweak you a little bit. You're doing all the work. We're just there to put you on the path. And maybe I'm ranting on a little bit, but I'm trying to just build a perspective of why you would want to be involved in this. And I need it. I am going to be using it myself.
Well, unlike that piece of paper, you have it always stored in the app. You can see every time exactly what you did. And not only that, you have a video of the exercises being done, so you know how to do the exercises. And like you said, you can ask the community, hey, this didn't really feel good with this. What exercises you recommend change? And one of us get back to you, hey, maybe try this instead of this. So you're constantly, there's constant feedback in your workouts all the time. The workouts also change every 3 to 4 weeks. So you're not stuck with that same piece of paper, the same exercises for a year membership. There's constant change to it. And the plans are pretty much in your control. So we have a weekly membership. So you can cancel at any stage. So you're gone for 3-4 weeks, or maybe your plans have changed for whatever which reason. Like, for example, you're renovating an apartment, or you're in Finland for 4 weeks and you're not near a gym or running, whatever it is. You can just pretty much cancel in that week. There's no cancel fees, no sign-up fees. And then when you come back, sign back up again, and you're going from there. It is one low weekly fee of just €7. That is that's probably cheaper than getting 2 cups of coffee in this day and age. So for cheaper than 2 cups of coffee, you have all that information, the coaches, the community, everything on your phone. If you don't believe us, try it out for 2 weeks. Just click the link, sign up. We don't ask for any credit card details or nothing in the first 2 weeks. All you have to do is just 3-4 links, bang, you're in. You'll get your Part Q form. You fill in your consultation form there. And from there, we designate your programs and stuff to you. And you're straight into the online groups. And then from there, it's just building up community. There's a little bit on your end to make yourself more accountable, to put yourself out there and be like, hey, these are my goals, or I'm struggling with this exercise. Like Eric said, you can't just sit back and do nothing about it after 2 weeks. Go, well, didn't ask any questions. Once you start asking questions, it is a very welcoming environment. That's what we want, because like I said before we start talking about this, what's helped me is seeing other people do it. Like I've talked before in the podcast, seeing guys, for example, the reason I'm doing Art O'Neill next week is because of the podcast with Ozzy Doyle doing Art O'Neill. I've never heard of it, but I talked about him, go through experience, like, oh, actually, this is a pretty cool thing. And then when I started doing, I was like, I can never go near him in times of marathons and stuff. But then when I started training with yourself, Eric, and everything else, I'm like, oh, I'm a lot faster than I think I was. Like, if you listened to me in the podcast 2 years ago, like I'm talking about getting to 21:55 in a 5K and feeling like absolute death, and I can't do anymore. As my absolute limit. And now I'm seconds away from getting a sub 20, and God knows how far I might be able to take that this year. Same with doing a marathon. When I got the 4:10 the second time I did it, I was like, oh my God, I'm an absolute bits. I'm in a heap. I can't do anymore. But then talking to a load of guys on this podcast and, talking to Rachel and everything else, I started building it. And then like after last year, I was like, you know what? 3:30 is a possibility. And I built my entire year around getting 3:30. If I'm out there by myself and I'm running by myself and I can't see how far I could push myself, there's no way I'm getting 3:30s. There's no way I'm doing 4:48 challenges. There's no way I'm trying to do 100 miles in 24 hours this year. I just wouldn't see how it's possible. Someone else said that they're built for it. I make these excuses. They have the good genetics for that. I'm just not a runner yet. Everyone listening to this podcast, I'm sorry, if you go for a run, you are a runner, and that's it. And we're just trying to build you up and help build you from there.
Yeah, and There are people who are joining that are not runners, and I'm going to say that. And there are people who are just looking for that little guidance and accountability. So there's some people doing a little bit of walking, a little bit of cycling. They're bringing their dogs for a walk 3 times, but they just want to tick off that box of getting those 3 walks in a week. With a little bit of home workouts or stretches or whatever else. It's for all levels. It's for all goals. It's for absolutely anything you want to do. It's good strength and conditioning. It's good running plans. It's good even cycling plans. And we will mention that on Tuesday evenings. So obviously I'm going for Ironman Portugal. I'm not going to keep it a secret. I was going to keep it a secret from Sean, but there is no point. So my training plan starts today with an FTP test. So figuring out my watts per kilo, what I'm able to do. And on Tuesday evenings, we're opening up a club. So if anyone is on Zwift, we are doing some indoor turbo training. And on Tuesday evenings, you can come train with me on my route to an Ironman. And that's what we're doing for now. So it is a club, any given training day on Zwift, and we might put the details into the show notes as well, Sean. So anyone, there's a lot of people out here that are gonna, I know, that listen to this, that will join me, and they will be fit as fleas and will be laughing at me. I don't care.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
I am willing to see you there, but it will be an easy paced. It will be. So this is day 1, and anyone who is thinking of setting up any cycling goals, probably a good chance for you to get involved in, because there's going to be a lot of consistent training. Now I'll have my holidays and stuff in between, and there won't be cycles that week, and that is just to prove that sometimes you're doing your own thing. This is my training plan that people are joining in on. So yeah, if you want to come along and cycle with us on Tuesdays, unless Sean fancies doing an L pedal on a Tuesday,
I might try and get myself an L Swift machine and see how I get on with the cycle on a Tuesday evening. I currently have a Tuesday evening somewhat free, so I might try and do that. But before we wrap up the podcast, just was at the top of my head, we talked earlier in this podcast about you having your reading your pages, your book, and having that goals and stuff. One of the other things we have on the app is habits. So like I put in the group there last week, is like, if you have certain habits, for example, maybe it is that you think will help. For example, it could be waking up at X amount of time each day, or you're drinking your 2-3 liters of water, or you're getting your X amount of steps in, or having those goals. When you hit those, it's just as simple as you hit the goal, you just tick it off on the app. Hey, that goal was hit, that goal was hit, and constantly doing that. And it's even that little, you kind of that little reward of, okay, I hit that task, and that kind of builds momentum throughout the weeks and months ahead. So it's finding those 1 or 2 tasks you're like, you know what, having that lifestyle change, let's work on this for 3-4 weeks, whatever it is, getting more steps or reading the book a month or whatever those goals are. And after 3-4 weeks, say, hey, I'm hitting this task, keep that task in, so make sure I'm hitting it, but also can you add this into my profile as well? And your profile, not only does it do that, it also, it tracks your body stats, and you can connect your MyFitnessPal, your Garmin's, and everything else to it. So throughout the end of when you get to the end of the year, you'll be able to look back at your entire year of workouts and how your body and your fitness levels have progressed throughout the year, which is a cool motivating factor for the end of the year for setting new goals for 2024. Before we get to 2024, we better wrap up the episode for the first one of 2023.
Yeah, and there's so much. Yeah, look, in the last, there's also, if you're looking for the nutrition element, there are add-ons you can buy and set your nutritional goal. It's basically a really well done star chart in primary school.
You're not wrong.
But it is positivity feeding more positive outcomes, and that's what it's all about. It's seeing your goals, it's seeing your progress. And it's brilliant in terms of what it tracks and what it shows, and it's absolutely amazing. And we're biased, so give it a try and tell us what's wrong. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you didn't like. That's what we want them to do. Is go and try it out, and we're going to make it better. Because we want people to be a part of this community, and it's something we're proud of. So let's see what happens over the next 12 months.
And on that note, guys, thank you very much for listening to the first episode of the Any Given Monday podcast for 2023. That's it for myself and Eric. Take care.
Bye.